Hello, and how is your network? Is it working? Have you deployed it already? Have you finished everything? Like, have you bought a router and connected? Maybe connect your network, maybe this department and this other department in your company. Maybe there are multiple departments, all of them are gathering under the same main switch number one and main switch number two. We have talked about switches before, we have talked about links before, we have talked about the routers. Maybe one router is more than enough, not more than enough, one router is enough in your organization, and this router is leading you to the internet, or maybe it's leading you to a server, and the server considered the internet because it's giving you services and data and information, etc. So this is your network. Now you know how to use IP addresses in all these interfaces, how to use VLANs with all those switches. Maybe those switches are connected directly to the employees, maybe to printers and devices. In the end, they must be end devices after you configure and deploy switches. And that's it, as simple as that. So this is your network, and that's it. It's working, it's functioning, you have everything normal. Everyone is connected to everyone, you have reachability to the internet, and that's it. So everything is good, we are all clear, we are steady, we have no problem at all. But now we are not talking about problems, we are now talking about, or let's talk about some advanced features. Like we want to add some advanced features. Like, from those advanced features, I want some users or maybe some employees in the company, I want to deny them from reaching the internet, because their job and their working hours should consist only of some specific things to do, and they would not need an internet service at all. Maybe they're only using accounting services and that's it, so they should only record some invoices and some money stuff, etc. If they have some extra money, maybe they will donate it to our channel. Anyway, other departments, maybe like technical departments like ours, we would always need internet. We cannot operate and we cannot work without internet at all. So some do need internet, others don't. Maybe the internet in your company is only reserved maybe like per bandwidth. Maybe your company has bought an amount of internet that's only maybe 1 megabit per second in bandwidth, and that's it, and that is maybe suitable and enough only for this department in here. Maybe this is the information technology department, the IT guys. Okay, so those are the engineers that do need the internet in everything in their life, but the accountants, they don't. Maybe they do in some companies. I'm not saying that's in all companies, but in your case, I'm talking about your case. Now you just want to use your engineering skills, your engineering networking skills in some advanced features, is that maybe those peoples in here are not allowed to get internet. Maybe this specific employee here is the only one that's allowed to get internet because he's the manager. Okay, he's the management guy in here, so he's a manager, so he should maybe have an access to the internet, while his regular or no ordinary or any normal employees, executives, officers, etc., they do not need internet. Maybe it's internet, so maybe it's prohibited, or maybe it's not prohibited, but they just don't need it in their work, so why should I provide this to them? So in this case, the moral of the story is that how can I allow or permit some end users, some end devices, some employees from reaching the internet, and how to deny others from not reaching the internet. Deny them from reaching the internet. Actually, I should not use a not in here. So this is some advanced skills, because if you want someone to reach the internet, maybe like this guy, if I want him to reach the router and the internet, I should give him a gateway for this guy, and since he have a gateway, he will reach the router, and since there is a connectivity and a routing like an OSPF in this router, he will obviously reach all the other devices and hosts in the network, and that's it. But if I just want him not to reach the internet, maybe I can delete the gateway from him, and that's it. This guy will not reach the internet. He will not even know how to go to this router. That's it. internet is down for this person. But I'm talking about now, just because you don't have a gateway, you will not be able to reach the router. And just because you can't reach this router, he will not be able to reach his colleagues in the other departments. Maybe he will talk with those colleagues in this under the same domain, under the same broadcast domain, or under the same switch. But for the other departments, for other servers, these are internal servers that they just provide information for him. He will not be able to. So gateway here is mandatory. I cannot delete gateway for this manner. I'm not can delete gateway just to reach this goal of denying this employee from reaching the internet. Or maybe check this one. He can reach the internet, but he can't maybe reach this beautiful girl in the company that he wants to talk with during the working hours, and that is prohibited. We do not have any business with this department, so you should not talk with them, or you should not talk with this specific employee only. Get this one. Okay, so you can talk with your colleagues, you can talk with the accounting team, you can get some services on internet, but you are not allowed to reach this employee in here, this employee's IP address in here. Or maybe it's a printer. Maybe you are using a lot of papers and costing us a lot of papers in the day, and you should not use printer anymore. So I will deny you from reaching the printer, but you are permitted to reach every other thing. These are some advanced features. Like you see, these are like maybe some advanced skills. Like I just want do this, do that, etc. You see, like Peppa Pig say it. Do this, do that. It's like any employee can say it or do it in the like engineering employees. So since they are advanced features, and actually there are some advanced security features, because allowing and denying or controlling the permissions and I forgot the word in English in another time, but let's say make use of the word permissions, like maybe controlling the permissions of employees or engineers or end devices in the network is like some type of a security feature, because you are controlling what you can reach and what you cannot. So you can protect some specific devices in your network from being accessed by other specific users or other specific devices. See? So this is why we can consider this protocol that we will talk about today as a security protocol. And this protocol is called an access control list, mostly known in the Society of Engineers as an access list. Okay, but it has a shortcut of an ACL. So in an ACL you'll find it. Mostly we'll pronounce it as an access list. You are not mistaken. This is how most of us say it, but actually it's an access control list. An access control list is a protocol. Yes, it's a protocol that has its own configuration, and we will mention it. An access list, like a command of access list, that will allow us to do one out of two things, or to do the same two things at the same time. And those two things are, we either allow or deny, I'm sorry, permit or allow or deny some users, some devices from contacting or reaching other users, other devices, other networks. So it's a specific permissions for users or networks. Maybe we can deny the entire network of the accountants from being able to reach the entire network of the HR department. You see, maybe I have 20 employees in the accountant and 10 employees in the HR, and I just want to both of them be completely unable to communicate together. But at the same time, the HR can communicate with the others, the accountant teams can contact with the others, and etc. And that's it. And both of them maybe are allowed to reach the internet, reach the internal servers, etc. So this is like, imagine the resiliency that I can use, that I can do, that I can perform in my network, how scalable it is. So this is access control list. You can control the permission and denials of host and network a device from reaching a host and network a device, etc. You see? So this is all the idea of, or all the concept. That's it. This is all the theoretical concept of an access list. It's only about allowing and denying some of you to do some things or to reach some other things. But access lists do come in types, and I just 2 minutes before the video, I'll correct this in the book before I upload the book. I'm sorry until now. A lot of comments on the channel are asking where is the book of chapter 5. It's not completed. I'm really sorry. I will just finish it in 2 days and I will upload it. I'm really sorry for this. But chapter 5 is like the epic chapter for me. All the types of engineering, social work problems just happening these days, so I'm not able to complete it. So anyway, access list types. We should learn 3 types, but I was mistaken. This I will correct it in the book before I upload it. Type number 1 is called standard. I will talk about it and we will perform a lab for standard. Type number 2 is called, it's not an advanced, it's called extended access list. Okay, so it's extended access list. It's not an advanced. I will correct this before I upload it. I will make sure to do that. And type number 3, which is a combination of type 1 and 2, is called a named ACL, a named access list, which needs no theoretic concept or at all. It's just a combination, optional combination of the standard and extended. What about the standard and the extended? 2 types you should know about in the CCNA exam are the standard access list and the extended access list. The difference between them is the permissions or the resiliency of the features that I can apply. The standard access list can use only the source host or the source network to decide the permissions. What I mean by that is that let's go again to the switch of department number 1 with all their devices and department number 2 with all their devices, and maybe I have some permission to the internet. This is my cloud, and maybe some internal servers, and that's it. In standard access list, actual access lists are applied in layer 3 devices, so it's either a router or multi-layer switch. Never forget that. It's never applied on switches, because it's all about IP addresses in all the times and ports. So of course we are a layer 3 device. I remember the guy that asked for a router that supports layer 3 services. So anyway, this should be supported in a router. This should be configured access list in a router. Using standard access list, what will happen is that I will only mention the source that I should apply the filters upon. The source, which is, maybe I will mention only this host in the router, this host IP address. Of course, maybe it will be 1.1.1.1. This is the IP address of this guy in here, so I will mention his IP address in the access list that I will create inside my router. What will happen is that once I mention it, what's happening inside an access list is that this router will bring a list, and this router will type or will write down in the list everything. Rule number 1, permit 1.1.1.1 from reaching the server. Rule number 2, deny 1.1.1.1 maybe from reaching this entire network. Rule number 3, deny anyone, see that, maybe from reaching 1.1.1.1. We put him in a separated jail. Okay, so rule number 4, permit everything for being happened. All, permit all, or permit any. You will see that in the commands. See, so those are an access. This is a list and has some rules. Those, each line is called a rule. Actually, it's called a rule in the CCNA exam. I'm sorry, and those rules are ordered, or maybe are, what do we say, should I say it, are organized by order or sequentially, or really I need to strengthen my English. I'm really forgetting some really strong and important terms, but what I mean is that those rules are put it in the access list in order: 1, 2, 3, 4. Rule number 1, after that number 2, after that 3 and 4, and etc. Maybe it will be 1,000 rules, not a problem at all. But the point is that there is an order for that. It's not randomized. And what should I care? Why should the router care if there is a rule? If rule number one says permit someone from doing something, and rule number two saying no, deny someone from doing something. Because, and you should now pay attention to this note that you will use from now up to the CCIE when you come to configure access list. What happens inside a router, or what a router do when the router grabs this list, open the list and start reading the rules. What will happen, actually what's happening is that if this host sends some type of traffic to this interface in here in the router, okay, to this interface in the router, and this router, what it will do, step number one is that the router will stop the request, or will hold the request of this computer. You will say hold just before you do anything for any reason. Hold there, stand where you are. The router will open the list and will start reading the rules. Once the router sees a rule that matches the IP address of this guy, the router will apply the rule and close the list and will not read the rest of the rules, even if this IP address is mentioned in the others. So maybe in rule number one it says permit 1.1.1.1 for doing for doing anything that he likes. So what will the router see is that rule number one, permit 1.1.1.1 for doing anything. Okay, that's it. You are permitted. The router will close the list and that's it. You can go and do whatever you like. Imagine that. But rule number 2, 3, and 4 are all of them are talking about denying 1.1.1.1 from reaching the server, from reaching the internet, from reaching networks, the network of the HR, etc. You can see that. So this is a big problem. You need to classify, or you need to put your rules correctly in order, so you can obtain the correct or the desired result. This is really important. This applies to all types of access lists in the world. I believe there are 5 types total, or 6 types, and this depends on IPv4 and IPv6 and Internet of Things, etc. But what you need to know are only 2 main types in the CCNA, the standard and the extended. Anyway, so all types of the lists depends on the order of the rules, and you should orderize, or you should put your rules in the correct order that will result in the correct and desired result, or the correct or the desired goal that you want. So anyway, I'm sorry, where was I? It's really late at night. I believe we will reach dawn, but anyway, so this is what you need to know about. It's only about permission and denying, permitting and denying, and that's it. And you need to order those. Once your name is mentioned in one of the lines, then that's it. You will be applied, or this rule will be applied to you, and that's it. The other rules will not be applied to you. It will not affect your behavior in the network. So that's why you need to order them correctly. After that, let's go back to the types. The standard access list is actually really annoying. In some things are really beneficial in others, but mostly it's annoying. Why? Because standard access list, in the command of the standard access list, you can only mention the source. I'm sorry. You can only say that maybe deny 1.1.1.1, and that's it. You can't say deny it from doing what? Deny it from reaching the internet? No. Deny it from reaching maybe this network, or reaching any other network, or the server, or the printer, etc. You can't do this at all. You can just mention that deny 1.1.1.1, and that's it. What will happen? What will happen is that the router will see deny 1.1.1.1. Oh, okay, I will deny it from everything. See, this is the disaster of the standard access list, because you can only specify the source, which is 1.1.1.1, the one that will come to me, the router, and will ask me for favor to make it reach another destination. So the first thing that I will see in the rule is that deny 1.1.1.1. Okay, you are denied from everything, and that's it. Case closed. So this is the big disaster of the standard access list. In the extended access list, we will have other things to discuss. But first, standard access list uses only the source. When you create an access list in a router, you need to specify a number for the access list, but this number means something. It's not meaningless. And the range of the numbers for the standard access list is from 1 up to 99. So maybe if you typed access list 50, access list 10, access list 90, then you are creating a standard access list. And because you are creating a standard access list, then you can just specify a source inside it. And finally, no specific permissions, because I can specify the permission of the 1.1.1.1. It's either I permit him to do everything, or I deny him or deny it from doing anything. That's it. So this is the really big annoying thing about access list, a standard access list. For the extended one, you can see, or you can imagine, the big resiliency that we will obtain here, because you can use source and destination hosts, source and destination networks, source and destination ports, source and destination services. You can be very accurate in allowing someone from reaching someone, deny it from reaching some network, allow it to reach the internet, deny it from performing any TCP traffic to any other destination, and allowing it to do any UDP traffic to any other destination. You see the very big resiliency that we will get with extended access list, because one person for only the 1.1.1.1, I can maybe do whatever I like with it. Okay, I can do maybe allow you from doing such thing, deny you from doing another, and that, etc. See that this is really important, and we will perform this in the lab just in case you are confused until now. It has a range from 100 to 199, so 100, 150, 170, 180, 98, all of those are even 199, all of those are creating an extended access list, and it's specific in detailed permissions. So this is what you need to know about just the concept of an access list, and that should be more than enough for a concept of the access list. We will have two labs in the upcoming videos, one for the standard, one for the advanced. The named doesn't really need a lab, but just in case you like to see a specific lab for the name, just inform me in the comments. That should be okay. We'll perform a lab for the named. So I really hope that only the concept of the access is clear to you. Just in case it wasn't, comment down below please in the video of our channel. And just in case it was clear and that's it, you are satisfied with it, just jump to the upcoming video and start labbing the access list. So thank you for your timing, and I hope to see you in the upcoming video. Goodbye.